and spoke against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman. Sadly, we don't even know her name, so we can't say her name today. But we do know that God said that her name and her nationality mattered. Because it says, suddenly, in verse 4, suddenly the Lord said to Moses, "Come out." I don't know if you've ever been called out before, but it's not fun to be called out when you've done something. I'll try to take some of Sam's. Sam said I can have a minute of his time, but I'm just telling you that the story that you see there in Numbers chapter 12, you should go home on this Sabbath afternoon and you should read it. Because God said that her life mattered. God said that her name mattered and you shouldn't mess with it. Notice what it says, though. First of all, there was consequences. There was consequences. Miriam, she got leprosy for 7 days. There was consequences for the Israelites in that it says that God's presence left the temple. There was God's presence left, and there was consequences that they all had to stay in one place for 7 days. There was no moving forward. There was a time, the other thing is there was a time of reflection, and society had to ground to a halt to really think and pray and discuss how to move forward in this way. That's because God said, this lady, this Ethiopian lady who we don't know her name, she matters. And so there was, society had to stop. Society had to not move forward anymore until they dealt with this. Reflection took place because God said, stay still, contemplate. And when you think about the reflection that needs to happen in our society today, when you think about this reflection that needs to stop, much of our world has stopped and people are complaining about it, but it's good for us to stop. It's good for us to reflect. It's good for us to discuss and to pray and to decide what is it that God wants us to do. And here as Seventh-day Adventist Christians on the Sabbath day, we're doing what God did on the Sabbath day when he almost got thrown off a cliff because he got up and he said, I'm for to do away with the injustice of our world. I came to do it. And on that synagogue on Sabbath, you go and read it in chapter Luke, they didn't like what he had to say. And guess what? They took him out to the side and they were going to throw him over the cliff. But you see, we have to pause sometimes on Sabbath days. We have to do things differently on Sabbath days. We have to take a look at some things and say, these lives matter. Yeah. God said it back in Numbers chapter 12. He called them out. The cool thing about Numbers chapter 12 is he also said, wait. She was outside the camp for a while, Miriam was. But the cool thing is even at the end, there was restoration. There was restoration of those who had maybe done racist things. Not maybe, they did racist things and they said racist things. But I love what the church can do. The church can lead society that says we can have reconciliation even amongst ourselves as well. We can move forward with a reconciled hearts. And I hope that we can do that and be leaders as Seventh-day Adventist Christians today. Because God said Moses' wife mattered. God said, stop, reflect, pray, and then move forward. I don't know when that's going to happen for our society, but I know that we have to be doing some of the same things we see in Numbers chapter 12 because her life mattered, and down centuries later, we're still fighting the same fight and same people's lives, black lives, Ethiopian lives, Kenyan lives, Samoan lives, but right now, black lives, they matter.
Next, we have a young lady from the Emerald City Church, Kiara Simmons, and she's going to bring a speech to us.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Okay. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. Don't clap. Where before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. No more weeping. No more weeping. No more weeping over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home freedom, oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. This song and so many alike sustain the minds of the people who came before us, who decided to take a stand when their backs were seemingly broken by the tireless systemic oppression riding them. The people who came before us, who sought justice in an unjust land. The people who cried out for equality, whose tears were wiped with Jim Crow laws and black codes. The people who plowed this land for freedom, that we might harvest the dream of a better way of life. But it seems as though today, while some of the dreams of those people may have manifested, others have still been deferred. Who would have seen 1954 a son of slaves, Thurgood Marshall would help in segregation within public in the landmark of education? Who would have thought in 1950 when the people of Montgomery, Alabama would go on for 31 days boycotting the local bus systems, that the protests would put an end to the busing segregation laws and become the catalyst of the civil rights movement? And who would have thought in 1960 a